Hello everybody, this is Jason. Welcome again to the 7-Minute Fix. What we're going to do today is take a look at layering and overlays in Photoshop. So we're going to start a new file. I've already got a widescreen preset. On here, the first thing what we're going to do is we're going to do a gradient overlay. We just click our gradient here. We have an option box that pops up so we can change the colors and the opacity of what gradient we're doing. I'm going to want my background to be pretty light. That's going to allow me to have a darker text as well as just give a really clean image, which is what I'm looking for. I want it to be pretty clean. On here, this selects the color from your gradient, this color to this color. This selects the opacity of or how transparent those colors are. So this one is completely dark, this one is completely transparent. So we're going to change that as well. So now we have our gradient. I like that. I'm going to change the angle, basically because I want light in the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to go with it. This is a really light gradient, but it looks better than just a plain background. Now, on top of that, what we're going to do is we're going to create some, going to place some text. So we've got our text tool. The name of this series is going to be What Your Heart Sees. Space that out so it's justified, and now I'm just going to center this. Didn't have to be perfect. Okay, now I don't want my text to look plain and boring either. So on that layer, okay, I'm going to do an effect, and I'm going to do a gradient overlay right here. On this gradient, I'm going to change the color of that as well. And I'm also going to change the angle of that just a little bit. So already you can see we have a really clean graphic that incorporates some gradients and just doesn't look normal and boring. I also just want to throw in really quick my reference, and I'm going to change the font size to 85. This series is on, This series is on Ephesians 1, 18, and 19. Now I'm going to leave that white, okay? And I'm also going to bring that just right over here and kind of butt it up a little bit underneath my title. Now you can see because of layering, it's on top of my title. If I want to change that, I just pull this layer down and now it's below it. Now, so right here, we already have a clean title slide for our sermon series, but we want to incorporate some artistic expression. And so what I did, was I went to Google Images and I pulled up glasses frames. I found this picture right here. It's got 1500 by 1000 pixels. And so I pulled it in and saved the JPEG on my desktop. So I'm going to come back into, Photoshop, and I am going to place those glasses from my desktop on my file. You can see it's already pretty much the right size. I'm going to scale it just a little bit, make it a little bit taller, and reposition it so that it just comes right over my text. Now, as a smart object, I have to check, okay, it's placed where I want it. Okay, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to left click and I'm going to choose to rasterize the layer. Basically, I like to refer to that as pixelating it. It takes that smart image and it just makes it a collection of pixels. As such, now I can do some manipulation that I couldn't do before. I can use my magic wand, select all this white space and delete it. I can come down here, I can select that shadow, delete it, this shadow, delete it, the inside of each frame, delete it, and as such. Now obviously I'm not going to go as in depth as I would for my own particular image, but just so that we get the idea, I'm going to move on. You could clean all of this up with erasers and make it really exact, precise. However, just to get you guys the idea of layering and how you can make this work for you, now what I want to do is leave the text that is inside the glasses crisp and clear and looking great. But I want the text that is outside the glasses to be blurred. So how do I do that? Well, the first thing I need to do is I need to come to this text and I need to do that same rasterize or pixelate that slide. I'm going to come back to my glasses, I'm going to use my magic wand, and I'm going to select the inside of the frame. If I hit the shift button and select the inside of this frame, I've selected the inside of both frames because I'm in the glasses window. Now though, I can change my layer to the text layer, and Photoshop has now selected that portion of the text layer. I'm going to left click and I'm going to say I want to layer via cut, and now I have two layers, one with the outside of text, one with the inside of the text. Okay. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge my scripture and my title. So we're going to merge down so that is just one layer, excuse me. And I'm going to put a lens blur on that layer. It pops up, it's already got some presets. I can change the distance of the blur, I can change the radius of the blur or the intensity of the blur. This is going to look good for what I want, so I'm just going to click OK, and it's going to take a while and apply that. I'm going to pull that up on a full screen, and that is how you can use layers and some overlays to make an artistic expression for your next sermon or series. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you for checking into this week's edition of the 7-Minute Fix.